Okay, as long as I don't move, this should be okay for today's broadcast. I've got to balance on so many things because I can't record in my lounge room due to living on a main road. Okay. Excuse me. So, I didn't think I'd be posting another video so quick, but I got some pretty good feedback from some guys, and I asked them, is there any other subject matter you want me to bring up? And they said, well, due to the Ford and Kavanaugh situation, false allegations, which is a really hot topic. So I did some research on false allegations on YouTube. And YouTube does what it does and played the next video. Now, the next video actually had nothing to do with false allegations, but it did have to do with something to do with bigotry, which I think, due to the new feminist movement, this fourth wave of feminist movement, there's a lot of bigotry. So here stood this large African American gentleman talking about becoming friends with an imperial wizard of the KKK. So I sat there kind of shocked about these two strange bedfellows, but also hearing the history of what made the man, Daryl Davis, try and search for this imperial wizard guy. Now, I had tears running down my face hearing some of the backstory of when he was a child and the hatred he got just because of the colour of his skin. Something that he was, naturally and beautifully born with. And it made me think that men are being persecuted over something that they were born with, which is essentially a penis, a dingling, a willy, schlong, whatever terminology you want to do. But they are hated for something natural. They aren't. It just doesn't make sense. And the fourth wave of feminism, which is about focusing on sexual harassment and violence against women, apparently by a feminist scholar like Prudence Chamberlain. But hop on board, good old Clementine Ford. Not to be confused with this Christine Blasey Ford, whatever the freak you say is a stupid name. But also the South Korean feminist movement, WOMAD, I think it's pronounced. But there's also so many more that hate men just for being men, for being male, for being born male. And for me, that just puts them in the same category as the KKK, because you're hating 50% of the population. Now, the fact that we're supposed to automatically believe somebody who comes out and says, I was sexually assaulted, I was raped, anything, with no evidence or facts, or even logic, just supposed to believe it because they're female. And this is what the Me Too movement preys on. Now, I can't prove it just to believe me. I've written something here. I can't prove it. You just have to believe me. That's what I'm saying. These false allegations are, I can't prove that it happened. You're just going to have to believe me. And all of a sudden, the male becomes a target, an example of hate. So to link the two clips together might be far-fetched, but and I'll put in my comments this clip of this gentleman. But the video before it was about a guy called Emmett Till, who was falsely accused of wolf whistling a white woman, and he was found dead. This guy was only 14. Now, the accuser also said in a court after the murder that he grabbed her and verbally harassed her. 62 years later, this woman admitted to fabricating the apparent assault. So there's one young man dead. Now, this young 14-year-old was an African American, so as far as the KKK are concerned, he was guilty because of his skin colour. And as far as the feminist movement goes and the Me Too movement goes, he was guilty because he was a male. And this poor man, it was murdered. Now, there are news reports about two male students who were falsely accused of raping a female student at a college. One lost his scholarship, but both apparently were pressured into leaving the university. Both admitted to having sex with her, but also said that she was a willing participant. And she later came out admitting that it was false because she didn't want to ruin her chances with another boy. So these two men's lives are ruined. Then I also remember another story about a 17-year-old who was falsely accused of rape, and 2 weeks after the so-called victim came forward and withdrew the rape complaint, he hung himself. But to add insult to injury, the mother killed herself not long after the year anniversary of him hanging himself. So there's so far, just on a tiny little bit of research, 3 people that have died due to false allegations. Now, even though 2 committed suicide, to me, this woman who put in the false rape claim murdered them. Murdered the mother and son, just as sure as a 14-year-old was murdered, 1955. Now, another man in England who was accused of false rape also killed himself. And he had text proof nothing happened, but because of the hell he went through, he killed himself. He was 38. Then there's the famous Duke University lacrosse players who apparently raped a exotic dancer. Now, there was protesters out there saying stuff like castrate them. Now, even though all these proven fake, these men's lives have been ruined. I keep on saying it. Shit sticks. You throw shit out there and it sticks. It doesn't matter whether the truth comes out a day later. There's always that thing in the back of people's heads of, what if it's true? And we live in a world where it's supposed to be innocent before proven guilty. Now, the magic word there is proven. Now, just like with the backlash with Kavanaugh, where there is no proof this assault had ever taken place, someone has come out and said this happened and he's automatically guilty. And if we don't support her, we're apparently a rape apologist. Nobody out there has the right to make me feel guilty about looking at the facts and the evidence and the logic and not the emotion, and call me a rape apologist. I think it's fucking disgusting. I'm sorry, but they are vile, because just because I don't support somebody who has got nothing to back it up, I get labelled with something atrocious, and so does everybody else. And all these fake claims have come from somewhere else. Have come from a deeper need for something. Whether it's to get back at the man for not wanting her, or some type of past family vendetta, which I found out earlier today about Ford and Kavanaugh. you cannot label someone a rape apologist because they don't believe the supposed victim. It's just not right. It's a vile thing to call anyone. I am not a rape apologist. If anything, I want all rapists to rot in hell. But I want the rapists to rot in hell. I want them to get everything thrown at them. But I don't want one day of an innocent man going through hell just because some woman has got some type of personal vendetta or doesn't want the boy that she's got a crush on to find out that she slept with 5 guys, to turn around and say he's guilty because of this has happened. And it's just wrong. False allegations have got to stop, and not just stop because of the real victims, which are the men getting accused of these horrendous crimes, but the real victims of rape and sexual assault. And they're the ones that are afraid to come forward because of the false allegations. So there are so many victims on a false allegation that the person who's accusing these men of this stuff cannot comprehend the fallout. One false allegation could mean 5 women don't come forward, and whilst one false allegation could destroy not just one man but everybody around him. So yeah, those people call me a rape apologist. Go fuck yourselves. I'm done. And you're going to have me on your case if you come up to me and call me that to my face, because you're disgusting. I'm done. Bye.